Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. And today we bring you some pre-match build-up as two rivals lock horns in the Premier League as the bubble enthusiasts roll out the red carpet for the Kings of London tonight. And I cannot wait. I've already got the first part of my itinerary checked off for the West Ham away starter pack because, as you know, it is so far away the stands are at the track Anfield Stadium. Today we are joined by co-host Mr. Jack Kinnicky and, of course, Kuva Sexy, and we will be joined by the Godfather, Philip Brady. Also, make sure you stay tuned for the watch along because I also have the second part of your West Ham away starter pack. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But Jacko, how are you keeping, my man?
Keeping well, Dave. No one likes the bubble blowers, and so this is going to need to be a massive win, or at least, come out with a point. I was chatting to Kuva earlier. He thinks, we need to get as dirty as possible in order to get the points today. But absolutely, Dave, massive game, and it's kind of good to be coming up, in a big game now. I guess the first game of the season, we're getting pumped for that one, Chelsea as well, but Forest not so pleasing, at least on the eye. I think in this game, no matter how it looks, no matter how it goes, Spurs fans will be happy if we walk out of there with 3 points and the goggles attached.
Absolutely, I cannot wait. Kuva Sexy, you pumped up? How are you today, my man?
Oh, I've got that sort of good nervous sort of energy at the moment. Yeah. It's just want the match to get started. I hate build-ups. I always hate build-ups. I'm just happier when the clock starts, first kick of the game. Yeah, totally up for it. They'll be up for it as well, as usual. It's usually where their average players turn out to be world beaters against us, isn't it? It happens all too often. We've got to pay them back because they beat us in the corresponding game last year. We've had a good start. They've had a so-so start. Perhaps their European excursions, are we catching up with them a little bit now? We should have them. And I just don't like this game because it's one of those where, for a change, the performance doesn't matter to me. It's all about the result. It's certain games, Chelsea, West Ham are like that. You just cannot stand losing to this lot. Unbelievably bad feeling. So I can take the football not being too great if we get the result today. But
Yeah, we've got to get 3 points. I absolutely hate these lot. I despise them. They're just a richer version of Burnley Football Club, if I'm being quite honest. But look, let's take a look with our West Ham starter pack. Let's see who is in the chat today. Who have we got with us? We do have Sonam Tamang. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely love that. Georgie Hill in the building says, Ari, let the boss know I'll be keeping one eye on the derby at work today, lads. Popping the bubble blowers. Bubbles is priceless. Can't wait to see Basuma unleashed. Absolutely love that. I can't wait.
Clearly he understands when it's the bubble blowers playing. The workload is going to have to go down a bit, George. Good man.
Big up, Georgie. We've got Ryan Trestane. Afternoon, Dave. Got my mate who's a West Ham fan. Stay with me tonight. Hopefully we get to win. Come on. To be honest, if we win, I'd just make him sleep outside just because he's a West Ham fan and just because we got the 3 points, I'd be gloating. So, make sure you get a nice little bed ready for him outside, Ryan. Big yourself up. We've got Lynch 616. Absolutely love it. As long as it's not a Rey Mysterio 319, my man. It's afternoon all sunny to win us the game tonight. Absolutely love that. Let's go, my man. Big up, Marky boy. Good to see you in the building. He says, Kai's Adrian Shocker. Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, my man. Paul Western says, come on, you Spurs. Let's smash the hammers. No, correction. Let's smash the rubber hammers, my man. Big yourself up, Paul. Marky says, Moyes in the media still bitching over keepy uppies. Pity forgets about Zuma doing keepy uppies. Ian Ferguson is ready for a proper Cutie and Richie shithouse session. Absolutely love that. I cannot wait either. By the way, I've got a Romero song. Do you want to hear it? Yeah, of course you do. There's something that they use what you to know. The best in the world is QT Romero, our Argentine. Give him the ball, his passing is sublime. Si, senor. Take him on, he'll take you to the floor. There's something else, it's what you to know. The best in the world is QT Romero. Now, hopefully you enjoy that, Ian. I want everyone to start singing that. Big yourself up, my man.
Legend.
Robbie Wallace, I hope not. He's a second-rate footballer. That's to do with Dan James. Yeah, look, hopefully a win tonight will take my mind off that for at least another 8 hours, my man. Simon McClure says, afternoon, David, matey. Hope you're all good. Please, we don't want Dan James. Not 100%. Look, I'm absolutely buzzing and raring to go, as you can see, my man. And I definitely don't want Dan James either. Big yourself up, my man. THFC Till I Die, new YouTube channel member. Well, he's not new. He's just, I think he's re-getting it. Big up, Dermatron.
Big up, Dermot.
Okay, my man. Big yourself up. We've got TZ. He says, big up, David. I'm praying to God we don't get Dan James. I think we all are, my man. I think we all are. I do hope it's one of them that's put out there and then all of a sudden someone comes in from left field. That would be absolutely spectacular. Jeannie D, big yourself up. Johnny Stokes, great to see you. We've got Dre Finizzi. Big yourself up. We've got Enrique, not Enrique Iglesias, but Enrique Prosciano. Good to see you, my man. I hope you are keeping well. We've also got Tommy Boy. He says, happy match day. Come on, you Spurs. Love that. Tony K says, be professional and win tonight. No messing about. Big up the Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up, my man.
Tony.
Absolutely love that. Exactly. A professional job is what we want done today. That's what we got here. I want to make sure I get everybody in. THFC Till I Die says, ladies and gentlemen, live from IrishHotspur Towers. That's what I should be start calling this. You know, I absolutely love that. Let's bust some bubbles and burst some bubbles and nick them 3 points home and make Barney the dinosaur will cry. Yeah, look, it's all about popping bubbles tonight. Make sure you have your toothpicks ready, you know, because look, they're quite enthusiastic and protective over their bubbles. Once you start bursting them, they're not very happy, you know. So get them party sticks out and start popping them, everybody. Big yourself up, my man. We've also got Paul, good afternoon. Big yourself up. We've got Hashim Rahman says, look, our Perisic squad in the thumbnail. I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Perisic's quads. Yeah, I guess. I think that's what
Perisic's quads.
The quad's always on.
Love that. Dax on Jesus, come on, you Spurs, let's beat West Ham in their turf for once. Yeah, we haven't won the last 2 attempts there, my man, so it's not going to be easy, but it's, do you know what it is? It's probably extra few steps you have to walk over the track and field run race course around it. It probably just makes us tired before we get out there, I'd say, Dark Sun G. But today will be different mentality, different team. I'm feeling confident today, my man. Big yourself up, brother. How are you feeling today, Dark Sun G? Are you pumped up? Let me know. Big yourself up, brother.
Conte's first away game over at the London Stadium. Hopefully he didn't forget his binoculars too, Dave.
Who?
Antonio Conte. It's his first match at the London Stadium. All of his games have been at home.
Oh, he'll be prepared, Jack. He'll have them super glued to his forehead today. You watch. Big up, Stevie Fraser. Good to see you. Checkmate, great to see you. Kevin Williams, great to see you as well, my man. Oh, chats after skipping on me. Big up, Kevin Williams. Great to see you, brother. Who else have we got? Mr. Kiriakou. Good to see you in, my man. Late lunch stream. Absolutely love that. Big up, Foggy Foam. Come on, you Spurs. Needed today. Absolutely love that. Of course we do. Big up, Wolves Finland. Good to see you. Slim Boy Clubs. Joe 27. DJ Samuel. Joseph Monaghan. I love Ben Davies. Love that. Big yourself up. Sebas Wolf.
Big up, Sebas.
In the building. Derek Smith, great to see you as well. Who else have I missed here? We have super chat from Adrian Chia. Great to see you, buddy. Hope you're keeping well. Always here for match day. He absolutely loves it. So big up, lads. Let's do a grand larceny tonight. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, Kuva, would you agree with Adrian Chia? You want to see a grand larceny tonight? I don't even know what it means, to be honest.
Theft. Just smash and grab. Yeah, I'd happily take it. Anything that gets the result tonight, I don't care. As we were talking about just before the show started, there's some games, most of the games, you want to see some great football. But this particular sort of game, it doesn't matter. It's just the result. Nothing else matters. Cannot stand West Ham getting any points at all off us. So it's a tough one tonight.
It is. He
wants to steal it today, Adrian does.
It's just one of them games that give me a rock on. Like, I woke up this morning with a pylon 10 feet long. You know what I mean? It wasn't right. I love these days. Absolutely love it. Big up Daniel Tyler as well. Good to see you. Jack Dark Sun G says, are we finally going to see Skippy play again in the Premier League? Also, if we beat West Ham and hopefully Newcastle get a result versus Liverpool, we will be top 3.
Definitely going to see Skippy, I think, come in at some stage, perhaps to seal it up, with the 3-5-2. It seems like that's what Conte has done towards the end of games in order to, not really lose in the midfield. I consider going with a 3-5-2 to start with. If people wanted to see Richarlison play, perhaps the best way to go about it would be a 3-5-2 with kind of Kane and Richie up top. I feel like that would be quite dangerous, actually, because of kind of all the hardworking midfielders in there. But with Bentancur perhaps not being available, will he really go for, the 3-5-2? He'll probably stick with the 3-4-3. We have seen Kulusevski have really good games as well against West Ham. We know Sonny has really good games against West Ham. It's a really tough kind of squad pick. But at some stage, Dark Sun G, I do imagine Skippy will come in probably to be that extra man in the midfield.
I think probably against Fulham or maybe off the bench tonight. I don't think he'll start though, Dark Sun G. I think I agree with Jack. I think he might have to be content with being on the bench. He's only back from a long injury layoff, and we don't want to thrust him in there if the guy is not ready to compete right now, because it'll only be detrimental to us, at the end of the day. I can't wait to see Basu and Hoiberg in the midfield today. I really can't. But big yourself up, Dark Sun G, my man. Really appreciate it. Everybody, smash that like button. Absolutely obliterate that subscribe button. In fact, I actually want you to do it with your head today, because it's just one of them days. It's a London derby. And also, feel free, guys, to get your super chats in at any stage with your thoughts about today's game. Even if you have something you want to say funny about West Ham, feel free to get it in, and we will get straight to it and give it a good discussion, guys. But look, I am going to tell absolutely everybody everything they need to know today. Of course, it is away at the Track and Field Stadium. Kickoff is at 7:45 p.m. today. Referee is Peter Banks. Hopefully he stays Peter Banks and doesn't turn into Peter Wanks, because we want good decisions today. In the VAR room, it's Stuart Atwell, who's actually been kind to us the last while. So we're happy with that one. You want to watch the game in the UK and Ireland, it's on BT Sport. And if you want to watch it in the USA, it's on Peacock. And we will be doing a live watch along for the game if anyone wants to join us back here tonight at 7:15. Now for Tottenham, Lucas Moura and Brian Hill and Bentancur probably all miss out today. Bentancur, of course, picking up what looks like concussion against Nottingham Forest. West Ham, Nayef Algard, Craig Dawson, Ben Johnson and Aaron Cresswell are all expected to be out. Now, Jack, Bubble Merchants, West Ham are off the back of beating Aston Villa 1-0 to move off the bottom of the Premier League, and they will be, as always, up for the fight against Spurs at the London Stadium. It is always a grudge match between the two. What do you like most about this rivalry?
They're probably the little brother, as someone, not me, I think gave this title, but someone has given them that little brother title. It does feel like kind of accurate to West Ham, because we don't really like to pay them much attention, but once this game comes up, we do like to, take a good, mick out of them, Dave. We do enjoy, calling them the Bubble Merchants and, making this, a big derby. But, once the derby is over, we kind of just pass them by. Don't really think about them much longer. But West Ham, they probably count the days like it's till Christmas, until the next time they play Spurs, because they really do seem to treat us like, as we always say, sort of their, their trophy game of the season. And when they're probably playing as bad as they are right now under David Moyes, they need a big turnaround, you could say. This is sort of their trophy of the season actually coming up right away. They're going to have to be able to step it up from the previous performances, because I feel like if they lose to Spurs at home, probably another pretty dreadful performance, for David Moyes. Could end up being the sack for him, or it could end up being, a lot of pressure on him. So we have to think about this. This is probably, if anything, West Ham's, probably most ideal situation for trying to turn it around. A big game like Spurs where they will get pumped up for. At the same time, though, we are a much better team than we were last season. So I feel like, with them being so out of form, with them being probably incapable of scoring a goal apart from a set piece, I feel like Spurs might give them a bit of a humbling today. But like I said, Dave, this is the game for them to turn it around, the Bubble Merchants.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely 100%, my man. We'll welcome in Philip Brady. How are you doing, sir? And what do you love most about this rivalry? Or why do you hate West Ham even is probably a better question.
Well, a number of reasons. One, because they seem to think they're on the level par with us when they're not really. Lasagna Gate goes back to that, because just sort of comment there, the way they celebrated beating us that day. And I just don't like them. There's a few. I have a lot of time for a lot of teams. I have no time for West Ham. But don't ask me to get a real reason. It's just inbred hatred of them, I think,
No worries. I won't. I definitely won't. You can share that with me after, my man. But Kuba, what do you love most about this rivalry between the two?
Beating them. That's it. Nothing else. No, they're just they got a minority group within their fan base that they're always hissing at our team. They're always it's always spiteful sort of rivalry with us lot. Arsenal, it's always a football rivalry, and West Ham rivalry. And West Ham and Chelsea, it always tends to spill over to more.
Yeah, I was going to say they're in common with Chelsea fans.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant game. Although I have to say, when they were at the Amberlin Stadium, the away games there were very good. it was one of you'd be going there, the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up. You could always sense the danger, the tension. It was ready to boil over. I'm amazed they're doing another evening kickoff on this game though. Do they never learn this? Like you got to try and take the alcohol elements out of this. Get a lunchtime kickoff as much as we don't like Qatar. It just makes sense. It's bound to be trouble again. There always is. So but be safe if anybody's going. Just remember that this is not one of the friendlier games we'll ever have. Yeah, but it's just West Ham. It's history. It's rivalry. It's bitter rivalry at times, and we need to keep letting them know where their place is. They can't go out spending all this money and thinking they're like Billy Big Bollocks anymore, can they? Let's slap them down and help them back into that relegation fight like they usually do. It was good times there.
Bubbles on the clean sheet, or bubbles on the sheet for them. Hopefully, when it comes to the goals, keep that up for them.
Put them back where they belong. Lasagna Gate will always be one for me. They snatched my dream away as a child watching Tottenham in the Champions League, and I'll never ever forgive them. So I can't wait to beat them, and I really just can't wait to beat them. I won't say much more because I know they're all sitting there watching me, trying to get me in trouble today.
Weird thing is for me, when Mum's Norwegian, may she rest in peace, but she's Norwegian, and when she came over to England, she worked in the East End, and she always said they are some of the loveliest, friendliest people she's ever met in her life. And yet my experience is the football side of it, and it's completely different. It's so strange, but just goes to show you what that sort of tribalism's like in football at times, really.
Yeah, 100%. Big Boss Man's in the building. Woo! Big yourself up, Big Boss Man. Good to see you in the house, my man. It's been a while. Hope you're okay, my man. I hope you are okay. Jacko, we've had our best start to a season since 2009, and we're unbeaten in 4 matches. Unbeaten start to the season so far. Do you see us continuing this unbeaten record in West Ham's Cup final tonight?
This could be a massive kind of boost for Spurs fans, just because there's been a bit of doubt with the style of play, with some of the performances, us getting dominated in the midfield. I feel like no matter how we get this, and we're probably going to say this 1,000 times, but I really don't care. No matter how we win this, if we get the win, if we grab 3 points here away from home, I'm pretty sure it will be a huge boost to the squad. But as well as Spurs fans, I think Spurs fans will really kind of come together knowing that, we are actually a team to be dealt with this season. We are a team to be feared. And this could be a really big performance for us, just because West Ham are a lot better than they have been in years past. And this has been a bit more of a difficult fixture for us in the past, going over there. It feels like it's quite easy for us when they come over to our stadium. Bit of a different story, actually, when we go over there, Dave. So it is going to be, I think, a huge momentous sort of game for us. It could be actually in a similar fashion to the Wolves and kind of the Chelsea game, where perhaps a fixture where in the past Spurs didn't really get all that they wanted. And hopefully Conte can be the one yet again to actually get us the 3 points, or at least get us the result that we always seem to fail to get.
I hope so. I really do hope so. Just quickly, Jason, I'm going to take a leaf out of Richarlison's book, Cry More. Absolutely love it. We've got them in already. We've already reeled them in. Starting to cry. Absolutely love it. Kuva, last year we lost 1-0 at the Track and Field Stadium and have lost our last 2 at the Track and Field Stadium, but beat them 3-1 at our place. Do you think Tottenham will fancy their chances of winning the London Derby against the bubble enthusiasts on their soil, or do you think they'll be apprehensive knowing their last 2 results there?
No, I think we've got pretty much a different mentality now. It was early into Conte's reign, wasn't it, when we went there last season? So I think we just got a little bit stronger in the squad depth, a little bit more experience, a little bit more confidence. Great start to the season. Picking up a point at Stamford Bridge works wonders. We're turning things around a bit this season. I think this is one of the results we'll also turn around. So, yeah, I'm going for us sitting high up there in the table at the end of tonight with 3 wins and a draw. On our opening 4 games will be pretty good. Carrying on that run, got to be gone for. It's got to be the aim. We should have them. I mean, we're talking about it before. Son, Kane, and Decky, they all performed against West Ham. We've got the firepower. Just need to be sensible at the back and don't start getting caught up in the moment and lacking a bit of leadership at times when perhaps things do go against us. If we concede a goal, don't let it get to us. We're showing good resilience so far this season. We'll need that, and then just let our quality shine. Even if the football's not great, we're finding a way.
Yeah, 100%. I think resilience is probably the biggest thing we need going in there today. Like you said, even if we go 1 down, we can't afford to let our head drops against these lot because they will sense it and they will come at us. So we've got to show that stealing mentality that we showed against Southampton when we went 1 down, that we showed against Chelsea when we went down twice. We've got to show that tonight. And we've got to get over here with. I mean, I just can't stay enough. We just have to. I have one more question before we maybe get into talking about the backline because hopefully Cutie Romero is back tonight. But I'll ask Philip this, and then we'll take the chair. We'll give you a super chat each from Dark Sun G, and then we'll move into talking about that backline. But Philip, Spurs have won 39 points since March, more than any other side in the top tier. Sections of supporters have some hesitation and reservations due to the way last season's hot start collapsed under Nuno. But is Conte's playing style, although unglamorous at times, is it proven more effective than what we want to give it credit for?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It as you say, it mightn't be pretty at the moment. It'll get prettier as it goes along. But Nuno's castle was always built on sand. It was bound to collapse in the end, and it did, you know. So I think Conte, like he's been here before. He did this with Chelsea when he brought them from 10th to win the league the next season. So, you know, he's a past master at that, you know, bringing teams into his image, if you like. So, yeah, I mean, tonight's a great test. I mean, it's their cup final, you know. I should just add, sorry, I just knocked that off. Just add,
it's the West Ham fans.
It probably is.
Calling you, Philip.
I heard somebody said telling you to bring your binoculars. Also, anyone on the Spurs away end, they should put their watch back an hour because they're in a different time zone as well. You know, they're that far from the pitch. But no, I mean, this is a great day. Win tonight, we Fulham on Saturday. What an opportunity to get the 13 out of 15. What was it? No, sorry. This is our fifth. This is our 4th match tonight, isn't it? 5th match.
5th match.
5th match tonight.
Right, so we'll have 13 points out of 15. Right, beat Fulham, 16 out of 18. That's better than a lot of us had even forecast before any of the games started. You know, so let's keep it going. Keep it going. The new players are getting fit, getting bedded in. Like he's doing the right job there. As I said earlier, it's like baking a cake with a number of ingredients. He puts one in at a time, mixes it all together, and then you get the end result. And that's what's going to happen with all the players we bought. You know,
I love that.
As long as he doesn't overcook it.
I love the cake analogy. Absolutely love it. Big up, Philip. We'll take some of these super chats and then we'll crack into talking about that backline. Dark Song G says, I feel pumped after Blues losing 2-0 to Southampton. I'd rather we go for Hwang instead of James. Much stronger and better. Let's get 3 points we didn't have last season. Jack, what would you say, Dark Song G, on this?
I actually like Hwang Hee-chan. I think he's looked good in the moments that he's been given for a team that doesn't score goals. In fact, I think he makes good runs. He obviously has a lot of pace like Daniel James, but Daniel James, if he's being used as a right wing back, sort of, you could see the logic, but I think you're really scraping the barrel if you're trying to see, you know, what they're doing there. If he's making him into sort of a right wing back, because I feel like we have Lucas who can kind of do that as well. So it doesn't make much sense to me. Dark Sun G, if he's really only being seen as like a winger, sort of creative midfielder, kind of, you know, Brian Hill sort of, you know, position like replacement, I'd be really disappointed if you ask me. And I think Hwang Hee-chan would be a much better option because he could also play as like a second striker. I think he'd be much more useful to us actually, and to Antonio Conte. I really actually like Chan, but or Huang, sorry. But I feel like with Southampton defeating Chelsea, I'm always a big Ralph Hasenhüttl fan. I always kind of respect with some of these scalps that he likes to take. As much as he loves those 9-0 defeats that he suffers, he does enjoy a good scalp. So it looks like he took, Tuchel's this time. And he actually gave him a good handshake as well, Dark Sun G. He looked him in the eyes.
Big yourself up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate the support, brother. And it was nice to see Chelsea go down to Southampton last night. It really was, considering we smashed them 4-1 and made their backline look so average. Absolutely love it, Dark Sun G. He also says, Kuva, last season, 3 London derbies in our first 6 games. We lost all 3-0. This season, Blues 2-2. Today, West Ham, and on Saturday, Fulham. Let's get 6 points. What would you say, Dark Sun G?
That 3-0 was Crystal Palace, I think, too.
Yeah, that Palace game was absolutely disgraceful. Yeah, that was worst football I've ever seen us play. I think that game. Yeah, let's just get the 6 points. I agree. I was going for us getting 18 points out of the first 6 games this season. I felt that good about things. Since then, lack of things happening, a little bit off on some of the performances, but the points are still coming. So it's encouraging. I don't see why we can't win these next couple. I really don't. If we're going to be...
do you see our mentality in London derbies changing as well since Conte's come in?
Yeah, it's just generally changing, isn't it? Even when we do concede a goal, there's not a panic like there was. First game of the season, you saw it, Southampton. As soon as they went ahead, the amount of seasons we'd think, oh, here we go again. It's going to be heroic back defence from the away team, and they're going to snatch the win. But this season, there's just something about the team. It's like, don't worry, we've got goals coming. Even when not playing well, it's weird. Yeah, I think they're for the taking again. West Ham are not that good. They've got some good players in. They've signed some good players. Still West Ham, isn't it? It's not like they're bringing in world-class players all over the place. They're in time they'll improve, but right now, let's do it. Fulham, great start to the season as well, playing with a lot of spirit, a lot of passion, a lot of desire in their games. Mitrovic hitting form, but again, we should be beating these teams. If we're going to win anything this season, these are the sort of games we should be winning.
West Ham, too, just quickly. West Ham have been a bit like Spurs in that they haven't exactly played a lot of their new signings very much. They have made a lot of signings, but they're not really playing. Like from what I saw from their 11 so far this season, the only players that are new that are really playing are Thilo Kehrer, and then I think Emerson, that Italian left wing back sort of, I think, has been playing. But apart from that, it's pretty much. And Scamacca has been rotating with Antonio, but for the most part, he's not really playing some of those new signings, which is kind of interesting.
It takes a little time to bed players in sometimes. I mean,
we're doing the same
Conte
thing.
wanted ours in early, so you get the whole pre-season. Sure. Unfortunately, injuries came and wrecked that pre-season for a few of them. So it's not gone to plan, but it's going okay. You can imagine it's the same with other teams. It's not just going to be hit the ground running. And you get that with occasional players who are just that good that they could go into a team with players they've never met before on the first day and play a blinder. But it's not the norm.
Yeah, 100%. Mr. Brady, Daxon G says 1 week later is the glorious Champions League group stage. Let's win our 2 games this week and win our first Champions League game. Then go to the Etihad and beat Man City for a great run. Are you up for that?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, I think even the most doubting Thomas would begin to believe if we did that run and won every game. It's going to be a very testing week. I mean, today's Wednesday, between now and this time next Wednesday, we'll have played 4 games. Or 3 games. And then with there's a break before the City game, isn't there? There's an international break. I think there's a break at the end of this weekend.
I'm not sure.
Or maybe I'm wrong now. I could be wrong. I know there's an international break coming up.
Break at the end of September.
Or maybe that's the one. Yeah, I thought it was earlier. But we had nothing to fear from City. City, okay, apart from Haaland maybe. We've gone there and wrecked their season nearly a couple of times. Nearly wrecked it last season for them. We wrecked it in the Champions League in 2019. So we've nothing to fear. Only team not to score. They didn't score against last season. I think.
Love it.
Marseille. bit of an unknown quantity, to be honest. I don't know who they've got at the moment. I haven't looked them up. See, are they a force? Are they going to come and park the bus? Which is possibly, you know. So if we can beat West Ham, beat Fulham, I'm sure we'll get a result out of Marseille. City is the one that's going to be the real tester. Really is.
Yeah. Look, it's a law right now. You know, we always beat City, so just got to keep winning them games till we get there. That's all we got to do. Big up.
I'm kind of looking at it the other way round. We can't expect to beat City each time, so make sure we pick up the points against the other teams.
Yeah,
and just take some of the stress out of the game, then, doesn't it?
Weirdly, though, we have beat them more than any other Premier League side. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know,
we love a game against it.
We love
Romero versus Haaland sounds tasty, doesn't it?
It does. There's only one winner there, and that's Romero, my Argentine.
We'll take him to the floor.
See, it's catching on, everybody. You got to get that Romero song on full blast. Big up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate the support, my man. Adrian Chia says Hammer fans got ripped off. Crying over £6 points. Big up. Ours aren't even that expensive, are they? I don't know. I've never bought a pint at the stadium, to be honest.
No, they're not far off it now, I don't think.
Pretty much on par with
something, I'd say 5 something, maybe.
So it's on par with pubs around the ground. It's expensive. London's expensive.
They're paying for the double vision. That's what it is. The £6 you have a few points, you get the double vision, you see the game twice. I think that's why they're charging them, Adrian Chia, you know, because they just it's cheaper than these bad boys. But big up, Adrian Chia. Really appreciate support, my man. And then we've got Dark Sun G. Last time Nuno split the team for Conference and West Ham, and both games was a shambolic loss. This time with content, we will beat the Hammers. Yeah, 100%. Look, what I will say is last time Nuno done it, he actually made sure they knew they were the B squad, which I'll be honest, I kind of agreed with. And you could say he probably got a majority spot on because half them players aren't even here anymore. So I actually don't mind them letting them know they're B squad. If they can't handle that, well, then that's on them. And then, do you know what it was, Dark Sunday? It was just all the excuses after. You know, the atmosphere, the pitch was bubbly. I mean, you swear it wasn't the same for both teams at times. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like that tie idiot from AFTV. It's raining. You know, it's raining for both teams. What are you talking about? You know, it's absolutely... look, thank God that's in the past, Dark Sun G. It's a new era. You know, they know they're not A and B squad. They're all useful members of the team. So I'm happy with that. Big up, Dark Sun G, brother. Really appreciate the support, my man. Top G. Absolute top man. He's loving it today. He's pumped up. He's revved up. I love that. Now, guys, biggest talking point today. Well, no, not the biggest. The second biggest is QE Romero, our Argentine. You know, try to take him on and take you to the floor. So he should be, he was deemed fit to play today. Now, the question is, should he walk straight back into that starting lineup or back into that defence who have kept 2 clean sheets in their last 2 games? And we'll go with you, Jack, and work our way around the panel.
I don't need to take very long on this one. I think Romero is our best defender in the whole team. If he were playing even Dyer's position, I think he would go ahead of Dyer. That's how much I rate Romero. He's just the best player, I think, in the whole team. So he walks in straight away. Too bad for Sanchez. A lot of people thought he played quite well. I think he was okay defensively. He was really poor, though, in possession and was really slowing things down for us. Romero is also our best ball-playing defender. He's not only our best defender, I think, but also our best ball-playing defender. He has to come into the team. He just simply... You put him in the team because we will be so much better in possession. We'll also be a lot more aggressive because I do feel like Dyer, especially him, does like to drop off, does like to, not really engage, in a lot of situations. And it's nice to have someone like Romero who really loves to engage and, does love to step out and win the ball for us. And we do need a physical, sort of specimen back there to kind of engage with, West Ham, who like to play dirty and like to play physical themselves. So, I mean, so many reasons. Romero goes straight in.
Yeah, I think so as well. Kuva, we'll get on to you, and then I want to read this out to Philip. This is a comment on its quality. But Kuva, Romero, does he walk straight into there, or do you think you've got to keep Davinson Sanchez in there? He's done okay since he's come in, and I never thought I'd say that.
Well, I don't know, Romero. He's okay, isn't he? He's not Sanchez, though, is he? Yeah, he walks straight into the team. He's our best defender by miles. The fact he's so aggressive pushing forward and carrying the ball forward almost makes it like having an extra midfielder as well. Helps the shape of the team, helps build from the back. We're better for it in every way imaginable. And the likes of Dyer, who we said, interestingly saying about him dropping off. I think that's the only reason he looks like he's improved. It's because he literally has to do nothing now. He can get away with that. Dyer's capable of doing nothing. So why is he? No, sometimes he messes that up. No, Romero, he's just one of our best players at the club. You've got to start him if he's fit for one of the first names on the sheet.
Yeah, for me, 100%. I don't even think it's a debate. It shouldn't even be. It should just be walked straight in. I will say to people watching, do be very careful. There's hammer emojis flying around the chat there. Very, very dangerous. Well, it makes them feel dangerous. So do be careful. Do watch out for yourself. Some of them think they're playing Super Mario with them turtles that are throwing the hammers down. It's ridiculous. But Philip, apparently Sky Sports have been trying to contact you. You want prize fan of the year.
Yeah, I'm getting calls from an unknown number. I've been refusing to answer it.
Their favorite listener.
I tell you, I saw a very good summing up of the pundits on Sky Sports and Talk Sport this morning. I really just sum it up. It was a case of, in the main, it's a load of either failed or washed up footballers passing judgment on present day footballers who have 10 times the skill they ever had. Which is pretty accurate when you think about it, with a couple of exceptions. Roy Keane being a notable one. But Gabriel Bonglahor, now he's a real one that's getting my goat at the moment, And there's another guy was on TalkSport yesterday, nearly frothing at the mouth talking about Richarlison,
Oh, Pennant.
Pennant, that's the one, yeah. I mean, he was no angel when he was a footballer, so he did jail, didn't he, for something? So, and then you've got Mr. David Moyes stirring it up by saying if Richarlison does it again tonight, you get a good kicking. I mean, come on.
They're used to that around there, aren't they? And it seems to be the general punishment dished out, whether you're a human being or an animal. So I'm not surprised.
Or a ball boy. I mean, he loves a good smack in the head to a ball boy as well, David Moyes. He loves if anything's teed up in the half volley for him, he'll take his chance.
If Richarlison starts showboating tonight, we're so far out of sight of West Ham, it doesn't really matter.
But Philip, I mean, look, with Romero or without Romero, Spurs are noticeably worse at progressing the ball and playing out from the back, in my opinion. And we just generally feel very passive in possession. And when he's not there, do we actually look better progressing the ball out from the back with Romero, or is that a myth?
No, he's a ball-playing centre-back. Okay, he takes risks, and the odd time he'll be caught out. But to me, apart from the obvious Kane, he's the first man on the team sheet if he's fit. For me, he's that important to us, and the fact that we're after signing him permanently now during the week means he'll be there with a spring in his step tonight. He's missed a few matches, and if you're looking around for the West Ham player, see if anybody got long hair, to see any practice on them. But no, it'd be great to have him back tonight. We need him back tonight because that West Ham forward line, if they hit the spot, can be quite tasty.
Yeah, no.
Owen and what you call him, the guy that keeps scoring against us.
Oh, Mikel Antonio. He loves that.
Antonio, I can never remember his name. But I feel an awful lot more confident tonight with Romero sitting in beside Dyer and Davis.
Yeah.
And when are we going to see Longley? That's another question.
La 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 long Longley. Yeah, hopefully, that could be tonight as well. That'd be nice. I think Ben Davies, for me, actually, I think he's been way off it last year. I think Dyer, he's probably in and around the level he was at last year, but I think Davies has stepped off it even more so defensively. So I think there's definitely a shout to get Langley in there. But guys, I've been to the very dark corners of the web for this stat here, so you're going to like this one. Only 3 sides have conceded more shots than Spurs in the opening 4 games. Now, what I want to know, we'll go around, we'll get everybody chip in on this. I mean, Jack, you can start us off. Is that a concern for you going forward? Can we really afford to keep giving up these chances or these shots?
No, I don't think any team can really sustain, especially a team you're competing for top 4 can really sustain the volume of shots that we have. If we were more like a Burnley or, a side competing in the lower depths of the table, it wouldn't be the biggest of concerns because you'd be more concerned about the actual quality of the shots. Like I've seen before, we actually seem to outcompete teams in terms of shots on target ourselves. We actually have a pretty high volume of shots on target compared to other teams against us who seem to just have a huge volume of shots in general. But I'm not comfortable with it, Dave. Even, shots from distance, they can take nasty deflections. Lloris might end up, being one-footed or, end up going the wrong direction, carrying his momentum the wrong way. There are 1,000 ways that it could go wrong, and they end up getting, a goal against the run of play. It'd be really nice to see Spurs actually sort of dominate the game in in a sort of manner, because probably the amount of shots we concede simply has to do, I think, with our possession figures. It feels like if we're closer to 40-50% each game, we don't really exactly have to dominate it like Guardiola, but if we were to probably up those possession figures, I would imagine the shot volume would certainly go down. And it is a concern, Dave.
Concerns me big time. I mean, Kuva, are you concerned by the amount of shots we're passing up? Do you think against better teams it has to be tightened up a little?
You would think so, but then there can also be method to the madness. I mean, we're having these discussions about, is this Mourinho ball all over again?
Yeah.
And some things tie in with that, and those defensive stats are one of them, because Mourinho was all about, he doesn't care about shots being conceded from outside the area or like difficult chances. It's the big chances that he always pointed to, and we don't actually concede too many of those. It generally tends to be letting players have shots from harder angles or a lot of the ball, so they tend to shoot from outside the box. Not a problem while it's working, but then one day it won't work, or some of them do start finding the back of the net, and then we're going to be up in arms about it. Of course we will, because we'll be playing badly and losing, and that's unacceptable. So yeah, I think long term it is a problem. I think it's a personnel problem. I think it's to do with the quality at the back. We've had this discussion a few times, haven't we, David?
Yeah, I agree.
It will improve. I think Basuma coming into the squad is going to help a lot. And Jack even alluded to it. Some games you might even want to look at playing a 3-5-2. Just beef up that midfield and just get a little bit more control on the game rather than relying on our brilliant front three scoring the breakaway goals. Because as we've seen, if Sonny's not on his goal scoring best, and even Kane, although he's scored some goals, he's still not been his best either. Kulusevski's been in and out of games quite often as well. It's not been quite as easy, and yet we're scoring goals this season. It's a very strange start, really. The football's not been good. Players off form, and we're right up there unbeaten and lots of goals. I think right now, don't panic. But if it carries on going, it's the longer this continues, the more worrying it gets.
I panic a little bit tonight because West Ham do have players that can strike a ball. I mean, you've got Boyle in the bag, right? You got Soucek, Bowen can pop one. You know, if Paqueta comes on, he's capable of it. You know, so for me, I'm a slight bit worried about it, like that we could end up, they might take one tonight. But I mean, Philip, I mean, look, I presume most of them shots are probably outside of the box. But do you agree with Philip and Jack, you know, that we need to tighten up, or do you think it's okay the way we're playing?
No, I mean, it's a bit nerve-wracking when that other team is racking up shots, but just another statistic from Sunday's game there, only one shot on target from Nottingham Forest. You know, we're forcing teams to shoot from distance. They're not getting in behind us. And the shot from distance is less likely to go in than a shot from 6 or 7 yards. So, you know, that point, it will get better. It will get better, especially with Romero back in the team. But then again, you don't want to be allowing West Ham too much room tonight because, as you say, they have got a few boys in there that can hit a ball and can know where the net is. So first 10, 15 minutes tonight, keep them tight. Then at Superior, we'll wear them down, hopefully, because they're not in good form. And we're on a mission tonight.
I don't know if it's a positive. Yeah, Dave.
No, go on, Jack.
I don't know if this is a positive, but what I have noticed, at least defensively, you know, despite all the shots we have conceded, is that we are sort of doing something that I had heard Sean Dyche sort of kind of like trained his defenders over at Burnley to do, which is having, you know, two defenders close to each other, where then the angle of like the window for the ball actually to go through to the goalkeeper on target kind of gets really limited, because it's going to have to either take a really nasty deflection for it to actually go on target, or if it actually ends up getting through that sort of pocket, Lloris can see it and he can see, you know, where it's actually going to go. You sort of actually make the goal even smaller, if you know what I mean, by doing that as defenders. It doesn't make me comfortable, like I said, because I referenced Burnley. We shouldn't really be, taking those sort of tips. But at the same time, it was effective for them for a very long time, because they conceded, I think, if I recall, a high volume of shots, but they never really conceded that many goals, you know, compared to other teams that, you know, were kind of in that bottom end of the table when you look at it. So it's an interesting tactic that Conte might at least be training the defenders when in those last minute situations, like you kind of have to get a block in. perhaps, we are well trained for when we're in those last minute defending situations.
I'd say that's probably where I disagree with Dave from earlier. We were saying you said Davis hasn't been up to it so much this season. I think he has. I think he's been really good at getting those last ditch blocks in. Saved Dyer a couple of times. I think in the last game there was another one of his. It's becoming his trademark sliding sort of flying block at the last second. Throw himself in the front of the ball. It's great when it works. And he is managing it at least. But yes, it's become a trait now, isn't it?
It is. And look. For me, I'm just concerned because the teams that we've done it against are teams that just generally don't score too many goals. But
not lethal
who have better attackers will take advantage of that. They will take advantage of you giving them shots on our goal, and they will punish you. And especially West Ham, they've scored some crackers against us down the years from free kicks.
True.
They scored, Lanzini last minute when Winks pulled out, letting them have a shot on the edge of the box. So West Ham do have the capability of taking it today. So I do want to see us close them down a little bit quicker. Now we'll take one more question on the back line, sort of, and then we'll take some super chats, and then we'll move on to maybe a bit on the wing-back situation before heading into the midfield. But West Ham are a set-piece specialist team last season and battered us with set pieces at their place last season. While Spurs have improved their own ability to score from set pieces, we're still crap at absolutely defending them, shown so far this season. Do you see this as a potential threat to us today? And what can we do to neutralise their threat? Because for me, if they're going to win the game, this is how they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. I guess I could start. I'm pretty scared about the zonal marking that we seem to do in certain situations from set pieces. We don't really do the standard, kind of getting that scrum, as you might call it, of all the players, kind of pulling on each other. We kind of go for some sort of, zonal marking approach. At least that's my observations. And I feel like we are still quite susceptible from conceding from set pieces. I feel like Romero isn't exactly the best in the air. I feel like that's probably, if you were to pick any of his weaknesses, I don't think really has any weaknesses, but if you were to pick one, probably is that, his aerial ability. Eric Dyer, I think, often is kind of inconsistent in the air. He does concede, I think, a lot of goals from being kind of out one in the air. And then Ben Davies is, I think, good for his height, considering he isn't exactly the tallest player, but he's also perhaps maybe a bit susceptible in the air. And we I don't know, a team like West Ham that basically scored a lot of their goals from set pieces last season. They're also desperate to score in general. They've had a lot of chances to score this season, but missed them. I feel like they will be very well trained for the set pieces in this game. I'm actually kind of worried that is the way they would probably score tonight, because they are sort of desperate, I think, to score. They are desperate to start putting goals in the net, and set pieces has been kind of their, I don't know, that thing they've relied upon last season. So I could see it being very dangerous this game.
Kuva, the set piece worry you for this game, just like it does myself and Jack, or do you think we actually might be okay?
Worries me every game. We're poor at defending them. We've proved that. There's no question about it. The stats are there, aren't they?
Yeah, we can concede anybody from them.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine this set piece specialist that we have in now is working on the defensive side, not just the attacking side. Otherwise, you're going to be worried. But so far this season, against Chelsea in particular, the delivery in from the flanks, we defended it shockingly badly. But is that down to the individual? Perhaps. Little bit of a mistake at times. People misreading it sometimes. Against who was it? Against Southampton, Hoiberg just misread the flight of the ball. Individual error. Don't have to worry about that being a tactical thing. But yeah, we do get torn apart at times. Ben Davis.
Is there a case then to keep Sanchez in today then for set pieces?
No, it's not that bad. No, he's done well, actually, Sanchez. Very limited footballer, but his defensive side of it, he was really good. There's a possibility of it. I just don't see it happen. What I do think might happen is the likes of Perisic might be in a more reserved sort of role this time, just to give Ben Davis a little bit more cover at the back there. Because if West Ham are attacking from the flanks, we might be looking to just cut out the supply rather than having to defend the actual cross itself. So we might play a little bit more negatively on the flanks, but look to perhaps the old custom dynamic duo setup, Kane and Sonny, perhaps looking for that breakaway ball, because West Ham will be susceptible to it. And when that's working well for us, that wins us games. So I think could be a bit of a tactical sort of letdown, if you like, when it comes to exciting football. But I think it'll probably be the right thing to do, because why give the opposition the opportunity to exploit your weakness?
Yeah, I agree. And Coover, Dark Sun G also says, in my opinion, Davies is tired after playing the most run of games in his whole career. It's
That's
time
right.
to rotate him for Langley, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd love to say Longley come in. I think he's just Ben Davies, but a better quality. It's just a far superior on the ball. His use of it, his passing range, his talent. He doesn't get pressed very easily either. He's a very confident lad. I think we'll look better for it. Him and Romero will transform that back three for sure. Dyer can then just be left doing nothing.
Do you think he could put two of them in tonight, or do you think he will just maybe put Romero in?
Oh, it's a difficult one, that. So I don't think Davis really done anything wrong. So it might be a case of just see how he is physically. He did do a lot of running. He does do a lot of covering for Perisic, because Perisic just loves to get forward. So Davis was quite an advanced player, certainly in the last game, and it's happened at other times. I think this would be quite a risk, though, because of the nature of the hostility and the atmosphere in this sort of game. It might go with the tried and trusted for the time being. Perhaps rotating it, Longley coming in the next game, something like that.
I agree.
For me, I can't wait to see Romero and Langley in there. I think you'll see a complete different Tottenham in terms of performance, in terms of on the ball. I just think you'll see a complete transformed Tottenham once you get in there. But I do not see it happen both of them in today. I think, look, there's time for Antonio Conte to shot me. But I think you might see Romero back in there, but I don't think you'll see Langley come in. I just think it's a bit of a risk putting two of them in for this game. Maybe you might see it against Fulham. We will wait and see. And look, it'd be nice to see Bamusa, nicknamed after Musa Dembele. It'd be nice to see him marauding through midfield there tonight, smack one up into the top corner. That'd be absolutely brilliant.
Perhaps even a through ball to Sonny. Perhaps even playing, a nice threaded through ball for Sonny to get off the mark and, put all the doubters behind.
Yeah, look, and I really want Sonny to score today. I think he will. He enjoys playing against West Ham. He likes
Maybe they'll assist each other.
People are saying that Richarlison is on the front of a lot of what Spurs are putting out today, so it looks like he could be coming in for his debut today, as it'd be pointless putting him on the front. Dark Zone G also says Jack Cutie will have Antonio in his pocket again. Come on, these Spurs. And this fucker always scores against us. Always scores against us.
Antonio looked rattled, Dark Sun G, in that 3-1 win that we had at home. He looked like he didn't actually want to really play football any longer against Romero. You'd think someone like Antonio might learn from that, perhaps go at Romero a different sort of way. I really doubt that he could really get into Romero's head. I don't think anybody really gets into that guy's head. He's a complete psycho in the back line. But when it comes to Antonio, it's just going to be interesting. I feel like you could get him a bit riled up, perhaps gives him, an early yellow card, or it could be the other way around. Romero makes Antonio pick up an early yellow card. It could be a very feisty affair, or Antonio might have learned his lesson, Dark Sunji, and just stays away from him.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure. Look, Antonio scored, 12 London goals, and 6 of them are against Tottenham. And I think he's also scored in, his last 3 at the West Ham Stadium against us as well. So he is a real threat tonight.
He plays much better there. Yeah.
Cutie Romero did absolutely pocket him at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So if he can do that again today, that'd be absolutely brilliant. Dark Zone G says the international break is after the Leicester game. Who has a tougher Champions League game? One, us playing Marseille and resting 1 day less, or City go to Sevilla and having 1 more day rest. Marseille has a lot of gooners need to win. Look, I would say, look, City probably have the harder trip, if I'm being honest. And yeah, look, with Marseille, they do have a lot of ex-gooners there. And for us, I think we should treat that a bit like an North London derby. I'll be honest, I see us beating all the teams in the group. I really do. I think going out to Marseille would be tricky. We might have to settle for a point. But at home, I think we beat the rest. I think we beat Frankfurt out there, and I also think we beat Lisbon out there, Dark Sunji. I don't think we should have a problem with this group stage. If there is, there should be a lot of questions asked because it couldn't have gone any better for us. So for me, I think we have no problem with any of the group games. I think we get out top easy, and I want top as well because it means then you get the second place team out of another group, so that would be ideal. Dark Sunji, big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate it.
I'd say City get the advantage with the extra day. It's all about preparation for the match, and Conte's like stickler for that. I think he would love to have that extra day.
Thing is, they're playing away though, so a lot of that day will be taken up with travelling back. Unless they fly back overnight.
I just think
good point though with Cuba.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sevilla could be a tougher test. They are very defensive, and knowing they're coming up against City, they'll probably be even more defensive. They're not very good this season, so they'll probably actually be playing pretty slimy, pretty, kind of, nasty football, actually, imagine Sevilla. So it could be a tougher test than Marseille. Absolutely, Dark Sun G.
Big up, Dark Sun G. Really appreciate support. Dark Sun G, make sure you run down and get your binoculars for the game today so you can see it, my man. The West Ham away starter pack. Big yourself up, Dark Sun G. Tony Markkinen says, need to be good in the air versus Souček, etc. Who to play? 100%. And this is why I worry from set pieces, At
least West they don't have Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson is their second best one, I would say, if not their best one. So
he's very good in the air, Craig Dawson. He's very good in the air. But
He's scored a few against us over the years, hasn't he?
Does it against everybody.
Souček's a fucker, though. He's always in at that near post, big guy. He's a hard one to get to grasp it. Who would you put on someone like Souček today, then, guys, to maybe stop him?
It's a pity we haven't got Brian Hill.
Do you think Dyer would be able to stick with Souček today? See, but you know where I worry is we do zonal marking, we don't do man marking, and if we do zonal like we do against Chelsea where we get caught, West Ham are going to have a field day because it's their momentum running at the ball with the big guys they have. They're just going to win it because we're jumping from a standing position and they're running at us. So I'm scared about that today. I really am.
I agree. I agree, especially a team like that. Like you said, Dave, so many big guys coming in with a lot of momentum that are very good at finishing them as well. They're not even just big. They're good at finishing, these corners and being kind of lethal from them. So I think we should, if anything, a common tactic I'm seeing these days is actually with maybe some of the lesser threats. You kind of just get these kind of smaller players in the squad sort of to get in the way of those runs, to kind of stop their momentum and meeting the ball. And then you have someone like a Romero and a Dyer sort of there to then, have their own momentum to win the ball. So perhaps put like an Emerson on Souček, just have him like step on his toes, kind of get in his way, stop him from like being able to really move freely, and then have someone like Dyer and Romero just there to actually win the header once maybe the ball is actually there. Because I've seen that before. You see kind of smaller players just kind of stepping on their feet and making it hard for them to actually get that momentum that you're talking about, Dave.
Don't give away any free kicks in silly areas as well, or corners. Just keep the ball. If you're going to give a free kick, give it in their half, but not in our half.
Could be the likes of Basuma as well, couldn't he? He's not exactly a little lad himself, especially if he's bossing him in the midfield already. It'll be in his head already then.
Yeah,
Basuma can look after him because Souček ghosts in. He's a midfielder, so he's not actually stationed in the box. He just drifts in there. So it's important to keep one of the midfielders keep an eye on him.
I'll be honest. I hope we go man for man tonight. I don't want to see zonal tonight. But big up Tom Markkinen. Really appreciate support. Yeah, Jacko, we'll take it away.
Moondog. Official Dyer bet is now on. He says, my Dyer bet is now on.
What was it? He hasn't scored since 2014 against West Ham or something like that, if I'm correct. He scored on his debut.
He scored on his debut against West Ham. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I said hold it out for today, Moondog. It might happen, my man. Big yourself up, brother. Now, guys,
Moondog. And then as well, Rob Wallace gave away 5 memberships as well. Wow. Dave, absolute legend. Absolute
Rob,
legend.
you're an absolute G, my man. Fair play to you. You're at it all week, my man. Big yourself up. Absolute legend. And on you lucky 5 recipients, make sure you get in there and give Rob a thanks. I haven't seen Rob get thanks all weeks for it. So get in there and give the guy a thanks. Big up, Rob Wallace. What an absolute legend. Now, Jack and Kuva, you fuckers can stay quiet on this one because we'll be here all day. So I'm giving this one to Kuva. Or Philip, sorry. The Godfather. Emerson, in my opinion, and now they know why I'm not asking them. Emerson, in my opinion, is reliable defensively, but he was awful, in my opinion, against Nottingham Forest. and many say he does not offer the end product typically demanded by Conte from his wing-backs. Conte has shown a lot of faith in Emerson at the start of this season, but do you think it's now time for, because some fans are calling for Doherty to be given a go to see if he can fare any better?
I don't know. I think Emerson has earned his place and continues to earn it. I know he wasn't brilliant on Sunday, but he hasn't really made any of the cock-ups that he's legendary for yet. You know, and who's to know? Doherty coming back in might not be. Is that an actual improvement, or is he just moving sideways to give him a game? I just don't know. I think he'll stick with Emerson tonight. You know, and one thing I did like about Sunday was the fact he brought Spence on. And I'll tell you one thing, that boy's a road runner. He's got pace.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if he comes on if we're in trouble tonight or we're losing. Don't be surprised if Spence gets a run out at some stage. But I would stick with Emerson, faults and all. And he's by no means perfect, but I would just let him stay where he is for this moment in time anyway.
Yeah, I think for this game, I think maybe you could look at it for rotating maybe against Fulham. I think you might see Doherty or Spence come in for that game, but I think for tonight,
not for the cup final. Not for the cup final.
No, exactly. But we're going to move on quickly before Kuva or Jack get triggered when it comes to Emerson, because we'll be here all
yin and yang when it comes to Emerson.
But guys, we're going to move into the midfield now and talk about that. I'm going to tee up the first question, and then I'm just going to run to the toilet quickly. And we'll start with you, Jack. Spurs have struggled to keep the ball with a pivot of Hoiberg and Bentancur this season. West Ham are a long way from the best, but will be more than capable of controlling the middle of the park through Boylan, the Bag Rice, and Thomas, the tank engine, Souček, particularly if new signing Paqueta is registered. I'm not sure whether he's registered or not today. He's not. That's brilliant. So he's out. Do you think Conte should switch to a 3-5-2 and bring in Basuma and skip today in beside Hoiberg, or do you think he will stick with his usual? I'll be back in 1 second. By the way, quickly, there's over 400 watching, 424. If you haven't smashed the like button, if we lose tonight, I'm blaming you. So smash that like button because it's West Ham's Cup final, and I can't wait to get there or beat them. But Jack, take it away. I'll be back in 1 minute.
If we're fielding Richarlison, lads, I feel like you do go for that 3-5-2. I don't think there's a need to really play Richarlison out wide. I feel like him and Kane could be actually really dangerous. They probably offer much more of a threat than even Bowen and Antonio obviously would, and it would be a similar shape to what West Ham have. You know, would that frustrate them, you know, putting a very similar sort of shape, or they probably will put an extra man in midfield, maybe Fornals or someone like that alongside Souček and Rice. So I feel like a 3-5-2 could actually be quite successful. If we weren't going to do that, you could still say we might have plenty of the ball, at least more of the ball than we did in other matches, because I think Nuno's team even got like 63% possession away from home at the London Stadium, which does show that David Moyes is fully capable of letting the other team dominate the ball, and so he can kind of launch those sort of counterattacks, where I think even also in the home matches that we had, it was a bit closer. I think more in kind of the 50s versus 40s kind of possession kind of difference there. But it does show that I think David Moyes does concede possession almost even more than we even kind of concede possession to the other team. He does like to have his team sit deep so that he can play those kind of balls over the top into the likes of Antonio through those channels and whatnot. So it could be a game where we actually end up having plenty more of the ball. Then again, though, they are going for a big win. They are trying to turn things around. So it's a difficult one for me. But I don't know, Kuva, would you go for a 3-5-2, or do you feel like with the 3-4-3, we actually might still have more of the ball?
I have a feeling we're going to start with a 3-4-3, but we might actually drop to a 3-5-2
earlier.
I think we'll be looking to make use of the fact that Sonny's in the team, Kulusevski, Kane, get a goal out of them, maybe a couple of goals out of them, then shore things up, stop West Ham from having any of the ball, dominate the midfield, and just double up on the wing-back spots, stop them getting those crosses in. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I like the idea of Kane and Richarlison as a pair up front at times. I think it gives that sort of dynamic, robust, sort of aggressive streak to the team. Perhaps
it's almost like you would drop Kulu and Sonny in that case, which maybe wouldn't make people.
Yeah, I think in that case, Sonny's kind of more droppable, not because of his form, but because Perisic is on the left there. Whereas if you keep Kulusevski on the right, you've got the natural width is maintained. if we drop Kulusevski, we're relying on Royale, and we know we're not going to get anything on the width and an attacking sense that way. So it would become a bit lopsided, but still have balance at the same time, even though that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's options, isn't it? It's options we just didn't have last year.
True.
When we played them, midfield was a bit different last year as well. It was, if I remember rightly, Ndombele actually had quite a good game against.
It was Winks, Deli, and Ndombele as a 3-5-2.
Yeah,
Talk about scraping together something. Really.
We didn't play shockingly badly against them. It's just we didn't take chances. That was the only problem. They did a Conte against us, really, didn't they?
Kind of. Yeah.
So yeah, different this time round. I think I'll feel a lot better if Bentancur was available. But then again, when we're not really in possession of the ball for a lot of the game, he's kind of a waste. You want a lot of possession when you got Bentancur in the side, so he can spray the passes around, dictate the tempo, rain it on out. So it might actually be a blessing in disguise for actually Basuma, Hoiberg, Skip coming in, bit of aggression, a lot of work rate. Just don't let them any time on the ball. Force them down the flanks and then double up on them there. They'll nullify their game plan, really, wouldn't it? It'll cut down ours a bit, but we would still have the likes of Kulusevski, Kane, Richarlison on the pitch. Sonny could still be on at that point. Who knows? For me, you've got to keep playing Sonny for a bit, because it's no good dropping someone just off form. You need to give them a little bit of time to try and recapture the form as well. As we were saying before on another show, I'll just wait for it to happen organically. Just wait for injuries or tiredness to affect the team. That's
I've been using that since. I think it's one of the wisest things I've ever heard you say, Kuva. I think it's absolutely a brilliant point, to be honest with you. I really do. But look, I mean, people are saying all over Instagram, Twitter and the stuff, it's Perisic and Richarlison on the cover. So does that mean Tottenham are switching formation and putting 3 in midfield today and going 3-5-2? Or is maybe Son or Kulu, one of them being rotated, and Richarlison starting with a 3 up top? Be interesting to see. But Philip Brady, what do you think? Because, Benteke's went off against Nottingham Forest, and it does look like he's concussion. We're all expecting him not to start today. I think he was ruled out as well. And we have struggled to keep possession, in the last few games against Wolves and Forest, and it has been pinned on the midfield too of Hoiberg and Bentancur. But with Basuma coming in there today, what are you expecting to see from Basuma? And do you think we might even get more of a grip on that midfield battle and maybe be better in possession?
I'm expecting Basuma to dominate the midfield as his game plan, like he normally does, what he did when he was playing for Brighton. I mean, okay, he was probably the best player they had, and he shone out because of that. He was so good. I'm expecting him to dominate the play alongside Hoiberg. I still think the final two will be the two Bs, Bentancur and himself, when everything's settled down a bit. But I'm expecting big things from it. It's a big game from tonight, because this is really effectively is his debut. I know he's come on for a substitute, but this is a big game to come in on, and he's got to impose himself on it from the very start. And this thing about the 5 in midfield, I can see Conte springing the surprise tonight and playing 5 across the middle, and leaving possibly Son out, because I don't think Moyes will be expecting Richarlison and Kane up front, and that could really upset their game plan. So. I think as the word organically is a brilliant word, actually. And I think that's the way we're going to evolve this season. It's going to be chipping and changing until such a time where Conte says, got it, that's it. And that's going to be a formation for the bulk of the season. Whether it starts tonight or not, we'll see. But the guy is nothing else, but he's got a surprise or two up his sleeve. I think tonight could be the start of it. Not that I'm not any hurt the song. I mean, the guy deserves a pat on the back for all he's done for us. But maybe he just needs a game or two out of the firing line to get his confidence back and to come on as an impact sub. And then, because once he scores, that's it. Back to normal service will be resumed. And it'd be lovely to see him get another goal tonight like he does against West Ham, even as a sub or as a starter or whatever, just as long as it's a winning goal and not a consolation.
Yeah, hopefully, I think Sonny will turn up whether he starts or comes off the bench. But I mean,
it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because Do you look at it that you just keep playing in and he'll regain his confidence just through playing time? Or do you drop him and hope he regains confidence? Or will that knock his confidence being dropped?
It is tricky.
It's a really difficult one to work out that. The ones that are going to know, the ones that train and play with Sonny all the time and watch him, they'll know what sort of character he's got for that.
His mood was very bad coming off on Sunday there. I've never seen him in as foul a mood as we sat down on the bench. He really, really looked very, very disappointed with himself.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's aimed internally, isn't it? He's angry with himself at not doing what he usually does.
But Kuva, Bissouma, I mean, what are you expecting to see from him today? Because he's a player that yourself and Jack have really liked for a long time and wanted into Tottenham. So today he's there to shine. I mean, what should we expect?
For me, he's a Kante light, isn't he? He's got all those attributes to the game. Can destroy the opposition. You can't press him. He's great at pressing. He hasn't got the passing range of Kante yet, but he's getting better all the time at it. He's just that all-action midfielder we really want. He's dynamic. He's got athleticism. He's got a bit more pace to his game than the likes of Hoiberg, which I've always said that's his Achilles heel for me. As a pairing, they're going to tear it up. You've got an extra layer of work to get through before you even get to the central defence that way. So, as I was saying, I think he's going to boss that midfield, force West Ham down the flanks, which is where they want to go anyway. And I think that might be perhaps why Richarlison's in. I think he might play wide. I think he'll be doubling up with Perisic and just shut down those West Ham little forays down the wing. So it's just a gut feeling. It's kind of seems a reasonable tactic to me. Nullify the opposition and just keep some of your star players on the pitch. Sonny's the intriguing one, though. For me, it's probably going to be him being dropped if Richarlison's starting.
We'll get onto that in a few minutes, so we will get onto Sonny and Richarlison. Jacko, after this, I do want to talk about Hoiberg, but Jacko, do you think we'll see a lot more energy in the midfield today with someone like Bissouma in there?
I feel like it'd be something really different. Someone even just the other night, was it on the fan show or on the panel, I believe, said as lovely and as beautiful as Bentancur is on the ball, sometimes they think he can be a bit lackadaisical, maybe, can make it look a bit too cool, make it look a bit too easy, perhaps, could show a bit more dynamism in it. I feel like Bissouma obviously really wants to make an impression. He's probably already quite hungry to be a starting midfielder. He's probably looking at Bentancur or Hoiberg's position as his own, as the one that he should be playing in. So this is probably a huge match for him to make not only an impression on Conte, but also on Spurs fans. So Spurs fans can be calling for him to come into the team. I'm really looking forward to it. As much as we all sort of know him as a ball-winning midfielder, Dave, because of those really good stats that he had last season and sort of the role that he plays for Brighton, I actually think he's secretly one of the most technically gifted players in our team. I think he's more technically gifted than Hoiberg, and that's probably what will make him one of our best midfielders, hopefully by the end of the season, is that he not only can win the ball, but he probably can carry the ball almost as good as Bentancur can, maybe with a bit more kind of, like Kuva says, a bit more pace or a bit more dynamism, kind of like in a Conte kind of way. And then as well, I think he actually does have a decent passing range. And it's only because I think the role that he played for Graham Potter that he wasn't really able to shine in the way that he probably can. I think if he is given the role to be able to be a bit more expressive, to be a bit more open, I think he can really impress us with some things that maybe we didn't see at Brighton, because I do think there is a really technically gifted player in there, despite him also being a wonderful ball winner.
Yeah. And for me, I just have visions of him. I think he's already texted me. He says, Dave, I've got the rice cooker on anyway. It doesn't matter. Declan Rice will be well cooked by the time I'm finished. I just see him picking up the ball. What I'm most looking forward to is just seeing him pick up the ball and just dance through the midfield. I haven't seen that since Moussa Dembele. And like I said earlier on, I woke up with a 10-foot pylon because of the Derby game. It's going to be the same when I see that as well. Just see him getting on the ball, jinking through a few, some trying to take him off it. He's just muscling him out the way. He looks at Declan Rice. He's like, okay, I'll order curry sauce. I'll have you when I'm finished. You know what I mean? I cannot wait. I really cannot wait. Come on, Bissouma. Let's give it to them today. Another player I do want to talk about before we move on into the big Son and Kane debate is Pierre-Emile Hoiberg, because Conte was asked in his press conference, which is a fair question by a journal for once. Pierre-Emile Hoiberg is a player who seems to defy the opinion of some fans. How important is he to your system? And Conte replied, Pierre, I think for us is really, really important player. I think that he improved a lot, and I'm seeing in him a great improvement with the ball, without the ball, and in the position, and when to go and recover the ball. I'm absolutely satisfied about the improvement of Pierre. Pierre's a really good prospect to become a really top midfielder. For sure, he has to continue to work in the way he's doing. Pierre does not divide in my head, in my mind. I am absolutely satisfied about his performance. So what I want to know, is it time fans appreciate what Hoiberg does and got off his back?
Philip?
Yeah, he's a very divisive player, really. You know, quite surprisingly so. Like, I mean, okay, I can understand the likes of Harry Winks being divisive. There's reasons for that. But Hoiberg, I mean, the guy has played, I'd say he's probably played more matches for us since he came to the club than any other player. The guy's he hasn't had a rest in 2 seasons. And okay, he's not perfect. He lacks a bit of pace, and maybe his passing isn't the best. But look at that pass he did on Sunday to put Sessegnon away for the cross that should have led to a goal before Richarlison's one did. You know, I mean, I think Hoiberg is an extremely valuable player. The blocks he gets in, the work he does off the ball, which isn't always noticed by the fans. I mean, when you're watching a match, you're watching where the ball is. You're not watching where he's running back, covering a player making a run or something like that. So I think, yes, if Conte says he's a vital cog in the setup, who are we to disagree? And I think he's just, maybe some fans have seen him make the odd mistake and have made the decision they're not going to fancy him or ever going to fancy him. And like, it just seems that some of our fans, that maybe they want perfection, and nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect, not even Haaland or Kane. But
No. Kane
you'll never get a more wholehearted player who puts his heart on his sleeve every time he pulls on that shirt. And, you know, I think he's far better off at our club than somewhere else. I mean, when I heard Real Madrid was supposed to be looking for him, oh my God, no, don't, please don't. Now it's that happened, it came to nothing. But no, I would say he's a very, very valuable cog in the machine that keeps our midfield driving forward.
Yeah, I agree. We'll let Kuva go next, and then we'll let Jack come in with his monologue.
Yeah, I mean, Hoiberg for me, I've not been a fan of him. I've been quite vocal about that for quite a while. Yeah. But he is improving. Against Forest, I actually had him down for our man of the match. I think his passing range is spot on at times. What seems to be lacking isn't something you can single out just him for, though. It's the consistency. It seems to be the whole team will have a slow first half. He seems to do really well in that slow first half because he's driving the rest of the team on. And then in the second half, when the team performance ups, he sort of not quite so prominent, slides off a bit. Perhaps it's just the work rate he's putting in, really getting himself about. I do think he's not the greatest technically. I do think he's lacking a bit of pace, but I do admire his heart, his spirit for the game, and his sense of duty towards the team. There's times when the defenders are not doing well, other midfielders might not be dropping back, doing some of the hard work, and he pops up in the box with a great clearance or last-ditch tackle, being in the right place, right time. I think he will continue to be underrated. He'll continue to be overlooked. He's not always the most pleasing on the eye, but he does have a use. And I think if you can harness that alongside the likes of a Basuma, Skip, Bentancur, who offer a little bit different, a little bit more pace, perhaps a little bit more urgency with their game, or better passing range, I think he's got a place at the club. There's no problem with that. Do I see him as a nailed-on starter in every game? No, of course not. But he can be certainly used in rotation without any worries. I'm not concerned to see his name on the team page. That's not on the team sheet. Other players, yeah, a little bit wary about, but he's proved himself enough. He's okay. He's okay.
Look, I love him. I love him. But look, 'cause I'm not here to give my monologue. Jacko, I mean, I know he gives you I'd say a 6 foot pylon. So, I mean, take it away.
Went on a Hoiberg run even today, Dave, with the Hoiberg kit on, went for the full Viking. But I feel like he's been our best player when, apart from Kane and Son, when he first got brought in under Jose. He made probably the best impression a defensive midfielder could have made, really, in kind of a debut season, especially playing the amount of games that he did as well. He was probably seen as, immediately sort of an undroppable player once he came into that Jose team. I felt like he improved on what he was showing for us under Jose the following season. He did have that bit of that dip in form, but as people love to maybe brush over, that dip in form where he was taken out of the team, we actually had some of our most embarrassing and kind of most hurtful kind of defeats because we played, I think, Winks alongside Bentancur, and it didn't actually end up being nearly as bad, or actually didn't end up being nearly as good as we thought. And we actually thought that Winks could be, in fact, better alongside Bentancur than he would be alongside Hoiberg. It was actually even worse, I think, when we saw Winks alongside Bentancur. Sort of Bentancur then was made to, I think, look a lot worse than he actually is. So Hoiberg as well, Dave. I think he's obviously improved on a lot of aspects coming into this team. I think he's shown that he is still improving on the technical parts of like his playing, but every team needs a major ball winner. Every team needs a player like Hoiberg, especially when we are coming up in games like this, a guy that is not afraid from stepping into a challenge, a guy that's not afraid to basically do all of the dirty work. And he pretty much doesn't have to, even ask, to be asked twice to do the dirty work. He, in fact, loves it. And so I feel like he is a player that is probably the most, the most hardworking, the most kind of student of the game as well. Probably a reason that he even gets that acknowledgement from Conte is I think Hoiberg is sort of kind of a guy that, as we know, stays after training, asks the coaches maybe where he needs to improve, what he maybe needs to be positioned better in certain situations. You can tell he's probably even kind of learning to become a manager himself, I think, in the future by the looks of things. He seems to actually love, kind of picking people's brains about football. I feel like Hoiberg, he's not the most talented guy in the book. He's not the most talented guy in the team. But he always makes up for it in so many other ways. In fact, I think, like I've always said, Dave, the moment that Hoiberg is seen as maybe someone we should get rid of, perhaps sell, I think that's the day that all of our problems are probably fixed at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, look, so
he's the least of our problems.
There you have it, Tottenham fans. No more talk of a divisive opinions over Hoiberg, because Conte said in his head, it's not divisive whatsoever. He absolutely adores him. So let's start giving Hoiberg the respect he deserves, just like Ellie gives him. Big up, Ellie. Good to see you in the building. Ellie, hopefully you have your Star or West Ham away pack. Binoculars are number 1 on the itinerary. And then also tune in for the watch along for number 2 on the itinerary. Kavkov Gaming says Paqueta and Soucek will bust the midfield today. Philip, you said Paqueta wasn't registered, not available.
As far as I know, he's not ready to play tonight. Now, whether he's not registered or not, but I don't think he's ready to play. That's the word. Then again, that could be a smokescreen from Moyes. He could spring him in at the last minute, but it doesn't look like he's starting.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he doesn't play whatsoever. If it's Soucek and Rice, it's quite hard enough anyway, let alone putting a decent baller like Paqueta in there. Kavkov Gaming, I have faith today. I have faith in Hoiberg and Bissouma. The nasty duo, that's what I'm going to nickname them. Gruesome twosome. I cannot wait to see them boys in action today. But look, let's move on to probably more of what I would say is Conte's biggest selection dilemma, and it does look like, according to everything that's been posted all around, that it looks like Richarlison is starting. But just quickly, a bit of transfer update news from the Telegraph. Apparently, Aston Villa are going to make a late push to try and sign Lucas Moura, so we'll see how that one pans out. But, I was going to say, should some be played back into form, but it does look like Richarlison's going to start tonight. So we're thinking it could be Son rested. Do you think that'll fire him up then for the Fulham game, boys?
It should do. It should. I mean, as I said, I felt sorry for him on Sunday. He was trying too hard. I mean, you're trying too hard. Obviously, things just do not come off for you. And like Son is a very proud person. He would have been inwardly disappointed, as will his dad. He probably gave him a right bollocking when he got home. Yeah. But if he is dropped tonight, I would say not dropped, rested would be the word I'd use. To come on as a sub if needs be. because I can see Richarlison and Kane versus that West Ham defence being very, very interesting. I mean, we saw what Richarlison can do in the short cameos that he's had so far. I mean, that guy does not take prisoners. He fears nobody. And he put himself in where other fit players wouldn't put their heads near. So I think it could be a good game to play him in from the start tonight, because the atmosphere is going to be incredibly fierce. And for fierce atmospheres, you need fierce competitors.
Yeah, that you do. That you do. I absolutely love that, Richard. And you know, I hope Richarlison like rainbow flicks it over one of them fuckers' heads today as well. You know, seeing Jamie Carragher coming out and talking about, you know, skills that guy couldn't even do. You know what I mean? He's just absolutely jealous. Honestly, half these people are going on like they didn't sit there praising JJ Okocha and Ronaldinho for about 10 years straight. It's absolutely ridiculous the way they go on about our star man, Richarlison. How dare they? It's absolutely disgraceful, in my opinion. But yeah, look, hopefully he does step up against Fulham if he is rested there. But could it be Kulusevski that's rested today, though, guys? Because he done it to him against Leicester last season. Could we be getting ahead of that? It could actually be Kulusevski.
Could end up being a 3-5-2 if Richarlison comes in. That's what Kuva and I were speaking about. Perhaps an extra midfielder gets added. Skippy could come in. Skippy probably would be raring to go in a game like this, you know, having that extra steal in there to help out the likes of Hoiberg and Basuma. If he doesn't go for that, yeah, Kulusevski could be dropped, and you could see Richarlison play on the right, Sonny still play on his natural left-hand side, but it would be an interesting one to, I think in either case, I think it would be Kulusevski or Sonny being dropped. I kind of said this before. I think Richarlison would be more effective if he just played in a 2 alongside Kane. I could see that really being effective, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I think Richarlison has played well enough, though, to obviously get into that team.
Kuva, if it was a 3 up front, what one is it? Son or Kulusevski being dropped? Or Kulusevski being dropped?
Sonny, just pure tactically. I don't have any problem. I don't mind saying dropped either. I think sometimes you just accept that. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not performing or things aren't coming off for you at certain times, it's no harm in it. Get angry about it. Go out of the team, come back, raring to go. So I'll see that with Sonny. I think he's a sort of quietly determined character. I think he'll be hurt if he does get dropped. He'll be mortified, but he will come back with something to prove. It could work out well. But as you said, it could just as well be Kulusevski, couldn't it? The same rule applies. If you're not quite banging in the goals or things not quite happening, not involved in the match as much as perhaps you could be, which you could say the same could be said for about all 3 of our forwards. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. We could rotate any of them. We could even drop Kane. There, I said it. No, it's not happening, is it?
As much as people wanted it, as much as half of our fan base wanted it last year, and they came on telling me it's got to happen. It does not. He
is the focal point of the attack. He always will be. Yeah, I think we've just got these options now, haven't we? Changing the shape of things. Richarlison can play centrally alongside Kane. Kulusevski could even drop behind them as a 10 if need be, and we'll really change the shape up. For me, the natural, the sort of easy target, if you like, would be Son for Richarlison, but that's a tough call, isn't it? It's the kind of difficult asking for years. Like now we're actually getting them. We're pulling our hair out about it. So I'm not worried. Whatever he chooses to go with, I think we've got enough there. There's options. We can change it around mid-game. No problem.
Yeah, I hope so. Look, I just have a sneaky suspicion it could be Kulusevski rested today. I think it might be something completely out of left field. I don't know why. I just think it might be. I don't think we will play the 3-5-2 because I don't think he'll risk skip so soon. With Fulham at the weekend, I think he might look to use them there. So I think it could be one of the two, but I think it might be Kulusevski today. We
could go really bold and go for a 4-2-4 and really take it to him.
Sure.
Don't think we'll see that though.
That'd be nice. But look, as long as we pull their pants down on national telly, that's all I really care about, to be honest. I just want the win. But guys, I'm a bit disgusted if I'm being honest. Not disgusted, I'd say let down I mean, we've got 420 people enjoying this bit of content today, and there's only 184 likes. I mean, do you want to beat West Ham? If you do, headbutt that like button, punch that like button, do what you got to do. Just get it done. We want to beat them bubble enthusiasts in their cup final today. So let's get that done. At least let's support the Spurs, boys. I'm not expecting this guy to do it. He thinks he's dangerous here. Like I said, thinks he's in Mario, the turtle throwing down hammers. You know, he thinks he's dangerous. So beware, guys. Make sure you get your hard helmets on. This guy's throwing hammers around like there's no tomorrow. I can't wait. I guarantee you as well, he won't be there when they're losing later. You know, guarantee you. But absolutely love it. But where am I? Where am I? Do you guys think that Richarlison has earned his start today, guys? You know, he has proved a difference maker off the bench on more than one occasion already.
Yeah, he has. And, you know, he's earned it for two reasons. One is his general play and his aggressiveness and his fearlessness, and the scowl on his face at the time was enough to scare any centre-back. But basically, he absolutely gets on the goat of the opposition fans. He really riles them up, which is a brilliant thing to do, you know. And like so much so, I mean, all that talk about what he did on Sunday, totally blown out of all proportion to what he did. I mean, there's another club not too far from us. There's a player in the ranks who I won't mention, who's possibly facing a long prison sentence for what he did. Not a word about that. But Richarlison juggles the ball up 3 times, and the whole world's talking about it. Crazy. Yeah. Total deflection. With Spurs, let's talk about them. But he does deserve a start.
It's hard to argue that. Kuva, you're a bit of a skeptic of the window. Yeah, a bit of a skeptic of the window. Is Richarlison starting to pay back the big money, the 60 million that we paid for him?
I think he's a good player, and you just pay those sort of prices for established Premiership strikers. That's all there is to it. It's nothing to do with him, the price tag, is it? He doesn't choose that. So it's just a player Conte seems to want. I think it's fair to say it's a Conte type player. I think with that attitude, that sort of shithousery, that sort of physical, aggressive type nature to his game, able to change the game up. But I've always maintained the same thing. I'm such a great believer in you prove your place on the training pitch. Yeah. So whoever is doing that gets the nod. And it doesn't matter whether it's popular with the fans or not. Whoever's constantly performing and showing the manager, I can do this for you, and then comes in and does it. If he comes in and smashes it, he's going to cement his place for a couple of games, isn't he? At least. Yeah. It's up to the others to keep their place if they're in danger of losing it, isn't it? You'd expect, you know. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if, say, Son had scored 6 goals in the first 4 games, and Kulusevski's on 5 assists. It's because they're not quite at the standards we have seen from them that we're even talking about it. And I think it's good that we can have this conversation. Richarlison is worth playing. When and why we play him and in what way, that's a different conversation entirely. But he's certainly not out of place when he comes on in the first team. He's looked good for us. Hasn't always had the greatest touches, skillful-wise, apart from the little keepy-uppy bit. You could even say he's been a bit disappointing in some of the things he's done. His lack of control at times, or taking the wrong option. But he does add to the team. The energy level goes up, the aggression goes up, pushes the other team back. It's a good weapon to have in the locker. And I do believe he's going to get his fair old share of goals this season. He's a talented player. I think he doesn't get enough credit for that.
I agree. Could not agree more. Everett, I mean, what are you doing here? It's time you got our red carpet rolled out and hoovered, my man. Get out there and get it done. You should not be here on this stream. Get that red carpet and the ropes ready for the arrival of our sexy bus. You think you're massive. You're in the Europa Conference League and the Europa League. So when you actually get into the Champions League, which you've been dying so hard and trying so hard to do, come back to me. But until then, get my red carpet ready. How dare you?
David, I think he's actually looking... that's actually the question. There's another word to come after massive. We have to fill it in.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. But seriously, get back to work. Guys, last question, and then we'll get your score predictions, and we'll give you a little bit of rest and time to get prepared for the bubble merchants today. But Antonio has scored in each of his last 3 league home games against Tottenham and has 12 goals in London Derby, 6 of those up against Spurs. But Harry Kane has been involved in 7 games in his last 6 Premier League games, 7 goals in his last 6 Premier League games against West Ham, scoring 4 and assisting 3. Who will walk away with the headlines today from the London Derby?
He's done it before, Harry Kane, already with Chelsea, grabbing that equalizer.
He's got the hair for it. He's got the hair to be on the back pages.
He was able to get that. He was able to get that point as well. You could see how much it meant to Harry Kane to get that away from home, I think, as well. I think the fact that he got that away from home, it sort of was a good moment for him. You could tell he was very elated. So it could be something similar. He might not even play the best of games, but he'll probably pop up with a goal, I would imagine, and he'll probably be absolutely just going nuts because, Dave, it just seems like these sort of fixtures he has struggled in, you could say, Kane, or at least hasn't been able to, get an actual goal to show for. And so I feel like he might continue that streak. Just might not even, I expect him to play well, but let's say he doesn't, still might pop up with a goal.
Yeah, he's definitely going to pop up with a goal. Definitely. I mean, Kuva, who are you predicting to walk away with the headlines, Antonio or Big H?
Oh, Big H, of course. Let's go for Richarlison as well.
It doesn't have to be one of them. If you think someone else is going to grab the headlines.
No, I think Harry Kane loves scoring against London teams, doesn't he? I think he's got 11 against West Ham, is it? Or something like that. 13 against Arsenal. Going from memory here. Saw the list a few days back, but memory isn't everything nowadays. I just think we've got to rely on our big names sometimes. It's the type of match where it's the moments of quality that are going to matter. They've got the likes of Declan Rice in their midfield who's going to be trying to shut us down as well. It's going to be hard going. I think it could deteriorate into a bit of a scrappy game. And if that's the case, I think that will actually suit us more than them because we're not firing on all cylinders, but we are scoring goals. And it's only a matter of time before that starts feeling second nature again to some of our big name players. Kulusevski, Kane, Sonny, Richarlison. I could see them all smacking goals in at some point. Why not today? But if are we doing score yet, or just leave it at that and come to the score?
No, not score yet. Not score yet. We're going on to get that. Just quickly, look, if you've done with the red carpet, you've jelly eels to go and sell. So off you go, off you pop. But sorry, Philip. I mean,
normally Harry Kane doesn't score in August, but here he's got the chance tonight to go top of the goal scoring charts if he scores a couple. He's got 4 already, so it's got to be Harry Kane. He loves London derbies, and West Ham are going to hate him even more by about 9:30 tonight, with a bit of luck.
Look, do you know what? I'm predicting Big H to give us the most graceful performance. Yeah, I just gonna see him gliding across the turf, not even on it, gliding across it. Like the guy can walk on water. His hair is gonna be perfect. He's gonna be feeling strong. I can't wait to see him hold that ball up, big shoulders out wide, swatting off that idiot who thinks it's okay to kick and abuse cats. Cannot wait to see that. Harry Kane, get him turned and then put one in the back of the net. And it'll also be nice to see that guy kick a football into his own net as well, Kurt Zouma. So that really would be nice. But I predict Big H tomorrow, Telegraph, Times, The Sun. In fact, I'd actually probably put Big H in page 3 of The Sun, but I'd have to settle for the back pages. But for me, I think you'll see him dominate them all. But look, we're going to go around the panel here. We are going to get everybody's score prediction and big up their channel. So we'll start with Kuva Sexy. Score prediction on what channel are we going with, my man?
I'm going to go for a really scrappy but extremely entertaining 2-2. I think it's just going to be one of them kind of games we get through. We'll would be happy with an away point. We don't generally tend to do well at that place. I think West Ham will just be up for it. I think we're not firing on all cylinders. It'll be a bit much expecting us to go there and just breeze through it. So a hard-fought game, couple of goals let's go Harry Kane because it is West Ham. I don't think we're going to be good enough on some of the long balls and set pieces to keep them out entirely. And when they do get up for it at home, they're a handful. So 2-2 for me. You'll possibly nick a 2-1, but it's going to be tough going. It's just one of these fixtures I want out of the way.
Yeah. Look, I agree. And what channel are we bigging up, my man?
Let's go for 3 Spurs boys. Bobby K and I doing a. Well, we didn't do it last Sunday because of real life commitments, but we're doing a sort of hour-long, 10:30 in the evening Sunday show, just a roundup of things happening in the week. Very light-hearted look at the game. Not going into any big details on things. Have a laugh at some of the other teams, what we could be doing, what we're not doing, and what was funny from that week. Really. Pick out a few blooper moments, maybe that we're working on that sort of thing.
That'd be good. Everybody, look, I always see people saying they agree with what Kuva has to say. So get over here, smash the subscribe button, and check out Kuva and the Kang. Absolutely love it. Big up, Kuva. Everett says, oh no, sorry, it wasn't that guy. It was Christopher. He says, I'm just impressed Jack got the UK page 3 reference. Well, we know what Jack was looking at when he was over here at the West Ham game, don't we, guys? I say Jack couldn't believe his look. Oh, what's in the news today?
We all love the sun, Dave. We all love the sun. Yeah.
Anyway, move on. Philip, what's your score prediction and what's coming up on THFC till I die?
2-1 the Spurs. Tight game. Harry Kane to score both of them. We'll be hanging on a bit at the end because they'll start launching Route 1 down on top of us, but Romero will keep them out. But it's not going to be easy. No way it's going to be easy. It's going to be any London derby. Very rarely do you get a one-sided London derby, so for the whole 90 minutes anyway. So it's going to be tight. 2-1 the Spurs. THFC till I die. Tomorrow, I think we're doing a bit of a post-mortem on tonight and a bit of a resume or a rundown on the transfer window so far. And then I think I'm on with you guys tomorrow night for the transfer window.
Yep. Should be.
Can we finally sign some more players?
I wouldn't hold your breath. I'll be honest, I think if you're going to see something, I'd expect to see it on loan. I don't think we're going to buy anybody deadline day. Sorry to put a downer on it for everybody, but hopefully
we'll see.
I'm surprised. But everybody do get over, check out THSE till I die. Some great personalities on there. You've got Dermatron, the Godfather, you've got Ellie, and you've got Isan as well. So get over there, check that out, smash the subscribe button. They are growing, so let's keep helping them. And Jacko, last but not least, my man, where can people find you, and what is your score prediction?
I kind of want to go something crazy just because they give us so much of the ball. West Ham perhaps will be worse if we have more of the ball. I'd like to think we'll actually be better if we were given a lot more of the ball. And just because I don't like the bubble blowers, Dave, I'll say 3-0. I think I want to give them a goal because we know we can concede from set pieces, but I don't want to see it happen, so I'm not going to predict it. So I'm sticking with 3-0, Dave. And we didn't get that 3-0 that I wanted us to get against Forest. Perhaps we've saved it for the bubble blowers. Perhaps we've saved it for them. But flat cap, I would just say there's probably something coming up tomorrow. Hopefully Spurs do get some person on loan that I can do a scout report for. If not, I'll kind of just give my general thoughts on the window. As you know, I do like to kind of use that channel as a good time to just chat about kind of the general world, the general kind of football kind of atmosphere and kind of the universe and whatever is going on that sort of interests me. And pretty much have been taking a lot of digs at, I think, Premier League clubs that probably I think should be doing a lot better. So I would say just stick around, probably find maybe an interesting rant or probably an interesting sort of topic that I'll discuss. But hopefully a Spurs scout report as well, if you're interested in that. Hopefully that would be nice. So everybody get over to flatcapeurotalk. Make sure you smash the subscribe button on it. Lots of content out there for you guys to have a look at. I'm getting the hiccups now. But guys, my score prediction is I think Tottenham might surprise us. But I'm going with Moondog here. In my head, I think it's going to be bigger than 2-0, but I'm going to say 2-0 to be safe and sound. And like Moondog says, 2-0 to us and a dire goal. Absolutely love that. Look, hopefully he can recreate his debut, my man. That'll be
Absolutely phenomenal. Big man ahead, straight up there, top corner. Or you could see marauding through midfield like he did again in Korea.
Have a screamer.
And smash one into the top bins, Moondog. That'd be absolutely lovely, my man. Big yourself up. And if it comes in, you'll probably get a nice return on it as well. And THFC Till I Die says, right, Dave, I am off to burst some bubbles. Woo! You see visions of Dermot driving around Gory now with his stick out the window, bursting all the bubbles coming off the sea. Absolutely love it. Big up, Dermot. Well, guys, I'm going to leave everyone with my Christian Romero song. So make sure if you know it, the words, you can sing along with me. But I want to get this one going in the fan base. 1 second, I just need to get rid of the hiccups. There's something that our shits want you to know. The best in the world is QT Romero, our Argentine. Give him the ball, his passing is sublime. See, senor. Try to take him on and he will take you to the floor. There's something that our shits want you to know. The best in the world is QT Romero. So, guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's going to be in your head. You're going to be walking around whistling. And I want everyone to be in the chat singing it before the watch-along starts. And by the way, I've got a good entrance for that as well. So make sure you're in there as the teams are walking out and tune in and see what the big dog has planned for the Irish Hotspur Derby. I cannot wait to beat them bubble merchants, bubble enthusiasts, and Kick a Cat FC as well. Cannot wait to beat them all tonight. So let's go. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
In contact we trust. Absolutely smashed them in their cup final. Let's go.
Everywhere we go.